Picture this. What if I dropped a bombshell that's about to shake the very foundation of your daily routine? What if I told you that one sneaky, overlooked habit is silently draining your life force, shredding your confidence, and chaining you to a version of yourself you barely recognize? You're slogging through your days, exhausted, uninspired, caught in a maddening spiral that feels like quicksand. You want out, but the exit's nowhere in sight. Now hold on tight, because here's the twist. What if the secret to ironclad self-control, unshakable resolve, and the raw essence of masculinity has been staring you in the face all along, hiding in plain sight like a master thief? Buckle up and stay with me, because once this truth hits you, you'll never see this habit through the same lens again. We're diving headfirst into a topic that's taboo, whispered about in shadows, yet it's a universal struggle every man wrestles with. Society slaps a label on it. Normal, harmless, even healthy. But have you ever stopped dead in your tracks to question that? What if I told you this so-called safe habit is a wrecking ball, smashing through your potential more than you've ever dared to admit? The ancient Stoics, those titans of thought who shaped empires and minds, saw through the illusion that modern culture clings to. They mastered the art of discipline, weighed the steep price of chasing cheap thrills, and unlocked the gateway to true self-dominion. Today, I'm ripping the veil off their wisdom so you can break those chains, reclaim your fire, and forge a life that echoes with purpose. Let's cut to the chase and face the beast. Why this habit is gnawing away at your core. You know the feeling. Don't pretend you don't. That gnawing guilt that creeps in after you give in, the motivation that evaporates like mist, the hollow ache as if something vital slipped through your fingers. But why does it hit like that? Science steps in with the cold, hard facts. Every time you indulge, your brain gets a dopamine tsunami, the pleasure chemical flooding your system. Sounds like a sweet deal, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. The more you dip into that well, the more your mind gets hooked on these cheap, instant jolts, wiring itself for addiction. And just like any junkie chasing a fix, the fallout creeps up. You're left drained, fragile, and adrift. Your hunger to chase real, gritty goals fades into the background because your brain's already cashed its paycheck without you lifting a finger. The Stoics, they clocked this game centuries before labs and brain scans existed. They sounded the alarm on overindulgence, warning that letting primal urges run the show is a one-way ticket to slavery. So, what did they preach, and how can you wield their ancient playbook to shatter this trap? Enter the Stoic arsenal, their razor-sharp take on the pleasure pitfall. Seneca, a heavyweight in the Stoic ring, dropped this truth bomb. No man is free who's shackled to his flesh. Boom. That's the raw deal when you let fleeting highs call the shots. Every time you cave to this habit, you're hammering nails into a coffin of weakness, muttering to yourself, I can't live without this. When the reality is, it's got you on a leash. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who ruled Rome with a philosopher's soul, wasn't about to let desires punk him. He preached mastery over cravings, not servitude to them. He knew a man who can't steer his own ship is doomed to drift. The more you chase those quick hits of pleasure, the tighter their chokehold gets. The more you grovel for instant gratification, the further you wander from the deep, soul-filling winds that actually matter. Here's the jaw-dropper. Every giant in history, warriors carving empires, emperors bending fate, visionaries rewriting the stars, had one iron thread stitching them together. They owned their impulses. They didn't let animal urges steer the wheel, and that's why they towered over the masses who stayed tangled in their own appetites. So how do you smash this cage wide open? How do you snatch back the reins and ditch a habit that's been choking your potential? The Stoics hand you a three-pronged weapon: self-discipline, purpose, and transmutation. First up, self-discipline, the unyielding cornerstone of freedom. Epictetus laid it bare. No one's truly free unless they've got themselves on lockdown. It kicks off with a gut check moment. The second you swear off bowing to your whims, you start clawing back your power. But this isn't about starving yourself of joy. It's about picking battles worth winning, choosing what's gold over what's glitter. Every time you stiff-arm that urge, you're pumping iron in your mental gym, forging grit. Over time, those cravings lose their teeth. Second, lock onto your purpose. Trade the habit for a mission that sets your blood on fire. The Stoics didn't mince words. A life without a North Star is a life flushed down the drain. That's why so many guys flounder here. They've got no meaty pursuit to sink their teeth into. Imagine this. If you're grinding to build a legacy, master a craft, or chase a dream that makes your pulse race, where's the bandwidth for mindless indulgence? The move is to swap the habit for a quest that lights up your soul. Third, transmutation. Flip that energy into rocket fuel. Ancient badasses, warriors, poets, thinkers, cracked a code most guys today sleep on. Sexual energy is a man's nuclear core. Let it leak out and your bleeding potential. Channel it right, and you've got a volcano of drive. Nikola Tesla, the brainiac who lit up the world, swore off women entirely, funneling that juice into brilliance others couldn't touch. The Stoics were on the same wavelength. Don't dribble your energy away on quick thrills. Pour it into ambition, creation, and iron-willed discipline. Now let's paint the prize. What's waiting when you kick this habit to the curb? Close your eyes and see it. Rolling out of bed every day with a confidence that's bulletproof. No shame, no cracks, just a roaring furnace of energy. Picture your focus sharpening to a razor's edge, your drive cranking into overdrive, your grip on your life tightening like a vice. That's the payoff when you cut loose. Your testosterone climbs, your mind turns crystal clear, your thirst for conquest hits the stratosphere. Best of all, you take the throne of your own headspace. This is the Stoic dream of freedom, not just kicking a habit, but rising as the man you were born to be.